If you're trying to build wealth in 2026 and you're tired of vague advice like just save more or watching American finance influencers talk about Roth IRAs that don't exist in Europe, this video is for you. I'm Marcus, I'm 29, I'm a software engineer in Stockholm, and over the past 3 years, I've gone from basically zero net worth to 56,000 euros. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly 5 things you need to do this year to actually move the needle on your finances. These aren't generic tips. These are specific, actionable things that work in Europe and that I'm doing myself in 2026. Let's jump right in. So, quick context before we get into the 5 things. My net worth right now is sitting at about 56,000 euros. That's up from around 49,500 euros back in mid-December, which is a pretty solid start to the year, not gonna lie. The market's been kind to me, up about 2% so far this year, and I've been keeping my savings rate around 35 to 40% of my income. But here's the thing, I didn't get here by accident. And 2026 is the year I want to cross 65,000 euros, maybe even push toward 70,000 if everything goes well. So these 5 things I'm about to share, these are what I'm personally focused on. And honestly, if you do even 3 of these, you're gonna be way ahead of most people. All right, thing number 1, automate literally everything you can. And I mean everything. Look, if you're relying on willpower and remembering to transfer money to your investment account every month, you're already making it harder than it needs to be. The absolute best financial decision I made in 2025 was setting up automatic transfers the day after my salary hits my account. I don't even see the money. It just goes straight to my Avanza account, that's my brokerage here in Sweden, and gets invested automatically in my ETFs. Here's exactly how I have it set up. On the 26th of every month, my salary comes in around 3,600 euros after tax. On the 27th, 3 things happen automatically. First, 1,200 euros goes to my investment account. Second, 150 euros goes to a separate high-yield savings account for my emergency fund. Even though I've already got 10,000 euros in there, I'm still adding to it. And third, I've got a small transfer of about 50 euros that goes to what I call my fun money account. That's for guilt-free spending on whatever, video games, going out, doesn't matter. The reason this works is simple. I can't spend money I don't see. And you know what? Some months I still overspend. I still go over budget on restaurants or whatever, but at least my investing and savings are handled. That's already done. If you take one thing from this video, it's this. Set up automatic transfers today. Not next week, not when you figure out your budget, today. Even if it's just 50 euros a month, automate it. Number 2, you need to increase your income this year, not just save harder. Real talk, there's a limit to how much you can cut expenses, right? I live in Stockholm, one of the most expensive cities in Europe. My rent is about 900 euros a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. I can meal prep, I can skip the fancy coffee, I can do all that. But at the end of the day, there's only so much I can squeeze out of my budget. Income, though? Income has no ceiling. So here's what I'm doing in 2026. And what you should seriously consider. 1, I'm asking for a raise. I've been at my current company for about a year and a half. My last review was decent. And the market for software engineers in Stockholm is still pretty strong. I'm targeting a 5 to 7% increase, which would bring me from about 55,000 euros a year to around 58,000 to 59,000. That's an extra 250 to 300 euros a month after tax, which over a year is 3,000 to 3,600 euros that I can invest. 2, I'm looking at side income. I know. Everyone talks about side hustles, but I'm not talking about some drop shipping scheme or selling courses. I mean real skills you already have. For me, it's probably going to be freelance coding work, or maybe doing some technical writing. Even if I make an extra 500 euros a month from that, that's 6,000 euros a year straight into my investment portfolio. The way I see it, If you focus only on cutting costs, you're playing defense. If you focus on increasing income, you're playing offense. And you need both. But in 2026, I'm spending more energy on the income side because that's where the real growth potential is. Thing number 3, get your European investment strategy dialed in because the market's probably not going to hand you 20% returns this year. Look, 2025 was a great year for stocks. The MSCI World was up over 20% last year. But let's be realistic. That's not normal. The long-term average is more like 7 to 9% a year. So if you're sitting on cash waiting for the perfect time to invest, or if you're trying to time the market, stop. Just stop. In 2026, here's what you need to do. 1, if you haven't started investing yet, open a European broker account today. I use Avanza because I'm in Sweden, but DEGIRO and Trade Republic are solid options for most Europeans. Do not use a US-based broker. You'll get crushed on taxes and currency exchange. 2, pick a simple portfolio of UCITS ETFs and stick with it. My portfolio is dead simple. 70% in a global UCITS ETF basically tracks the MSCI World, 20% in an emerging markets UCITS ETF, and 10% in a European small cap UCITS ETF. That's it. I don't mess with individual stocks. I don't try to pick the next Tesla or whatever. Index investing is boring, and boring is exactly what works. 3, set up monthly contributions and do not stop, even if the market drops. I put in about 1,200 to 1,400 euros every single month. Some months the market's up, some months it's down. I don't care. It's called dollar cost averaging, or euro cost averaging, I guess. And it's the most proven strategy for building wealth over time. And here's the thing about 2026 specifically. The market's already near all-time highs, right? So people are nervous. Should I wait for a crash? No. You should invest consistently because if the market does drop 10% or 15%, that's when your monthly contributions are buying shares on sale. And if it keeps going up, well, you're already in the market capturing those gains. Either way, you win if you're consistent. Number 4, optimize your taxes. European edition. This one's huge and a lot of people ignore it because taxes are boring and complicated, but you're leaving money on the table if you don't pay attention. Here's what you need to focus on in 2026. First, max out any tax advantage accounts you have access to. For me in Sweden, that's my tjänstepension, which is my occupational pension. My employer puts in money and I can contribute extra if I want. It grows tax-free until I retire, and I pay lower tax when I withdraw it later. Right now, I've got about 6,200 euros in there. And it's grown pretty slowly because I haven't been prioritizing it. But this year, I'm going to increase my contributions because it's just smart tax optimization. If you're in Germany, look into Riester or Rurup pensions. If you're in the Netherlands, check out your pension pillars. Every European country has some version of this, and you need to figure out what yours is and use it. Second, be smart about capital gains tax. In Sweden, we pay 30% on capital gains, which honestly sucks compared to some other countries. But it is what it is. The key is to hold your investments long term. If you're constantly buying and selling, you're constantly triggering taxes. Buy, hold, and only sell when you actually need the money. Third, if you're self-employed or freelancing on the side, make sure you're deducting everything you legally can. Home office expenses, equipment, software subscriptions, all of it. I'm not an accountant, so definitely talk to one. But this stuff adds up. And fourth, if you're planning any big life changes like moving countries, do your research on tax implications first. Some European countries have way better tax treatment for investors than others. And if you're location independent or thinking about relocating, that could save you thousands of euros a year. Thing number 5, and this is the one people don't want to hear. Fix your relationship with money before you try to fix your finances. I'm serious about this. You can have the perfect budget, the perfect investment strategy, the perfect everything. But if you're emotionally spending money to fill some void, or if you're terrified of losing money so you never invest, Or if you're comparing yourself to everyone on Instagram who seems to be making 6 figures and driving a Tesla, you're going to sabotage yourself. Here's what I've been working on personally. 1, I stopped comparing my journey to other people's highlight reels. Someone's always gonna have more money than you. Someone's always gonna have hit their goals faster. That's fine. My only competition is where I was yesterday. 2, I got clear on why I'm doing this. For me, it's not about being rich, it's about freedom. It's about knowing that if I hate my job, I can quit and take 3 months off to figure out what's next without panicking about rent. It's about not being stuck because of money. When I'm tempted to blow 500 euros on something stupid, I remind myself, is this worth delaying my freedom by another month? 3, I give myself permission to spend on things I actually value. I'm not trying to live like a monk. I go out with friends, I travel a bit, I buy video games when I want to, but I'm intentional about it and I build it into my budget. Deprivation doesn't work long term. You'll just burn out and blow all your progress. And 4, I track my net worth monthly, not daily. Obsessing over every market movement is a recipe for anxiety and bad decisions. Once a month, I sit down, I update my spreadsheet, I see where I'm at, and I adjust if needed. That's it. The rest of the time, I'm living my life. So let me bring this all together. If you want to actually get ahead financially in 2026, you need to do these 5 things. Automate your savings and investments so it happens without thinking. Focus on increasing your income because there's only so much you can cut. Get your European investment strategy set up with UCITS ETFs and monthly contributions. Optimize your taxes using the tools available in your country. And fix your mindset around money so you're not sabotaging yourself. And look, you don't have to do all 5 perfectly starting tomorrow. Pick 2, start there, build the habit, then add more. But if you're serious about building wealth in Europe, these are non-negotiables. The people who get ahead aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They're just more consistent and they focus on the things that actually matter. I'm doing all 5 of these in 2026 because I want to cross 65,000 euros, maybe hit 70,000 by the end of the year. If the market cooperates and I stay disciplined, I think that's totally doable. And if you're starting from 0 or 5,000 or wherever you're at, the same principles apply. Start now, stay consistent, and give it time. All right, that's the 5 things you need to do to get ahead financially in 2026. If you found this helpful, hit the like button. And if you want more content on building wealth in Europe using UCITS and actual strategies that work here, not just copy-pasted American advice, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to dive deeper into European investing specifically, check out my video on how to start investing with UCITS ETFs. Even if you only have 50 euros a month, I'll link it in the description. It goes through the exact brokers, the exact ETFs, and the exact steps to get started. That's it from me. See you in the next one.